The silver Bentley sliced through coastal fog like a phantom, its engine growling with each curve of Pacific Heights Road. Inside, Ethan Blackwood gripped the leather steering wheel until his knuckles blanched white, his mind racing faster than the luxury vehicle carrying him away from his father's ultimatum. The merger with Sterling Pharmaceuticals depends on this union, Ethan. The wedding is in December. Consider your future, our future. Victor Blackwood had delivered the news over breakfast with clinical detachment, as if arranging a board meeting, rather than his son's entire life. At 32, Ethan had built the technology division of Blackwood Industries into a billion-dollar enterprise. He'd earned his place, sacrificed personal happiness for corporate success, but marriage to Natalie Sterling, a woman he'd met exactly twice at charity functions, was a step too far. The coastal highway stretched before him, empty in the early morning haze. His desperate plan crystallized with each passing mile marker. A minor accident, temporary confusion, time to breathe, to think, to escape the matrimonial prison his father had constructed. Just ahead, orange construction markers lined the roadside. Perfect. 3 blocks from the construction site, Saltwater Dreams Cafe perched on a cliff overlooking the Pacific. Olivia Dawson wiped down the espresso machine for the 3rd time that morning, her honey-brown hair escaping the messy bun she'd attempted at dawn. At 28, she divided her time between serving overpriced lattes to tech executives and creating paintings that gallery owners deemed too emotional for commercial appeal. "Liv, you're going to wear the chrome off that machine," Dominic called from behind the pastry case. Her best friend and cafe owner had been trying to cheer her up all week after another gallery rejection. "Need to keep busy," she replied, unconsciously touching the small birthmark above her right eyebrow. The nervous habit had developed after her father abandoned their family when she was 12. "If I stop moving, I might actually think about how behind I am on rent." The screech of tires cut through the morning air like a blade. Then came the sickening crunch of metal against concrete, followed by the terrible silence that only trails disaster. Both Olivia and Dominic rushed outside to see a silver Bentley wrapped around a roadside barrier, its hood crumpled like expensive origami. Steam rose from the engine in ghostly tendrils. "Call 911!" Olivia shouted, already sprinting toward the wreckage. Her mother had been an emergency room nurse, and some instincts ran deeper than thought. The driver slumped over the wheel, a thin line of blood trickling from his temple. Even unconscious, his features were striking. Strong jawline, dark brows, lips that seemed sculpted rather than grown. His tailored suit probably cost more than her monthly rent. "Sir, can you hear me?" Olivia gently pressed 2 fingers against his neck, relieved to find a steady pulse. His eyelids fluttered open, revealing eyes the color of stormy seas. For a moment, he simply stared at her, as if forgetting his carefully orchestrated deception. "You're okay," she breathed. "Try not to move. Help is coming." Ethan blinked slowly, forcing confusion into his expression. "What happened? Where am I?" The lie fell from his lips with practiced ease, but something unexpected happened as Olivia's concerned gaze met his. A flutter of guilt. She was genuinely worried about him, this stranger with kind eyes and paint-stained fingertips. By the time paramedics arrived, a small crowd had gathered. Ethan maintained his performance, appearing disoriented, while Olivia answered questions about what she'd witnessed. When they loaded him into the ambulance, she surprised herself by asking, "Can I ride along? He shouldn't be alone." At Pacific Memorial Hospital, Dr. Nathaniel Wells examined Ethan with growing puzzlement. "Scans show minimal trauma, but you're presenting signs of temporary amnesia. Can you tell me your name?" Ethan stared blankly. I don't know." That's when Victor Blackwood arrived, a hurricane wrapped in a 3-piece suit, demanding immediate answers and displaying more concern for his corporate heir than his injured son. From her place in the waiting area, Olivia watched the interaction. Through the partially open door, something protective stirring in her chest as she noticed how Ethan's heart rate accelerated whenever his father spoke. She didn't know why she was still there or why she felt so invested in a stranger's welfare. Perhaps it was the momentary connection they'd shared, or perhaps it was something deeper, a recognition of someone else trapped by circumstances beyond their control. Whatever the reason, when Victor Blackwood emerged from the room barking orders about transferring Ethan to a private facility, Olivia found herself standing in his path, her voice steadier than she felt. "Excuse me," she said. "I think there's been a misunderstanding." Victor Blackwood's cold gaze swept over Olivia like a winter storm. "And you are?" She stepped closer to Ethan's bedside, heart hammering against her ribs. "I'm his girlfriend. We've been together for 7 months. The lie hung between them, electric and dangerous. Ethan's eyes widened briefly before softening with gratitude. "Girlfriend?" Victor's voice could have frozen the Pacific. "My son has never mentioned any girlfriend." "He wanted to keep it private," Olivia replied, her thumb absently tracing circles on Ethan's hand. "Corporate politics and all that." "Liv," Ethan said, his voice uncertain but warm. "You're here." The way he said her name, like it was precious, made her pulse quicken. Dr. Wells cleared his throat. "Familiar presences often help with memory recovery. Having his girlfriend here could be beneficial." After Victor reluctantly departed with promises to return with specialists, Olivia found herself alone with Ethan. The pretense dropped like a heavy curtain. "I can't believe I just did that," she whispered, sinking into the visitor's chair. "I lied to your father about being your girlfriend. Your father who probably has people investigated for fun." Ethan studied her face. "You didn't have to do that. Why did you?" "The way he looked at you, like you were company property, rather than his son," she shrugged. "Plus, I have a problem with authority figures. The amnesia isn't real," Ethan confessed quietly. "I staged the accident." "I figured. Your reactions to emotional stimuli are too appropriate, and you remembered my name immediately, which I never actually told you." Ethan laughed, then winced, from genuine pain. "You're observant." Occupational hazard of being an artist. "I notice details." She stood, gathering her bag. "Well, good luck with whatever you're running from." "Wait," Ethan said quickly. "My father is forcing me to marry Natalie Sterling to secure a business merger. I've met her twice. The wedding is in December." Olivia's mouth fell open. "An arranged marriage? In 2025? "Strategic alliance," he corrected. "I needed time to find another way out." She considered him with newfound understanding. "And now your fake girlfriend has complicated things." "Actually," Ethan said slowly, "you might be the solution." He sat straighter, energy returning to his features. "Continue being my girlfriend, just temporarily. My father can't force the merger if I'm already committed elsewhere." "You want me to pretend to be your girlfriend? For how long?" "Just a few months, until I can restructure some investments and secure my position independently." Olivia laughed, incredulously. "Your father would investigate me in a heartbeat. He'd discover I'm a barista with an art degree and crushing student debt." "I'll make it worth your while," Ethan said. "What do you need most right now?" She hesitated. "A real studio. Somewhere to paint without worrying about rent." "Done. I'll fund your studio for a year, plus a stipend to cover living expenses." "You're offering to pay me to fake date you?" "I'm offering a business arrangement that benefits us both," Ethan clarified. "You get your studio. I get freedom from corporate matrimony." Olivia should have walked away. This was madness, the stuff of movies, not real life. Yet something in his expression, a vulnerability beneath the privilege, made her pause. "One condition," she said finally. "If we do this, we do it right. Believable backstory. genuine connection. I won't be a half-hearted performance that falls apart under scrutiny. Deal, Ethan said immediately, offering his hand. When their fingers intertwined, neither acknowledged the unexpected spark between them, a complication neither had anticipated, in their carefully constructed arrangement. Part 3. Worlds Apart. The Blackwood Foundation's annual charity gala transformed the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art into a glittering showcase of wealth and influence. Olivia stood before the mirror in her borrowed designer gown, barely recognizing herself. "You look incredible," Ethan said, appearing in the doorway of the guest house where she'd been living for the past 3 weeks. The small cottage on his property provided the perfect cover for their charade, while giving her the studio space she'd always dreamed of. "I look like an imposter," she replied, smoothing the emerald silk that draped her figure. "These earrings probably cost more than my car." "They're just diamonds," he shrugged, adjusting his bow tie. "You're the masterpiece." Their eyes met in the mirror, and Olivia felt that now familiar flutter in her chest. Their arrangement had proven surprisingly easy. Daily coffee dates at Saltwater Dreams, weekend outings photographed by conveniently present paparazzi, dinners at restaurants where they were certain to be recognized. What wasn't easy was remembering this was all pretend. "Ready to face the lions?" Ethan offered his arm. "Let's hope they're not hungry tonight." The museum's grand hall buzzed with California's elite, tech moguls, venture capitalists, old money and new. Olivia felt eyes tracking her every movement as Ethan guided her through the crowd. "Ethan, darling," a woman with perfectly coiffed silver hair approached. "And this must be the mysterious girlfriend we've heard so much about." "Margaret, meet Olivia Dawson," Ethan said warmly. "Olivia, Margaret serves on our foundation's board with my father." "Charmed," Margaret said, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. "Tell me, dear, which family are you from?" "No family of note," Olivia replied honestly. "Just a single mother who worked hospital night shifts to put me through art school." Margaret's smile tightened. "How unconventional, isn't she?" Ethan beamed, his hand possessively at the small of Olivia's back. "She's teaching me about artists who aren't already dead or hanging in private collections." As the evening progressed, Olivia realized she was being systematically assessed by everyone in Ethan's circle. She was a curiosity, an anomaly in their carefully curated world. Then she spotted Victor Blackwood approaching with a stunning blonde whose diamond necklace could have funded Olivia's entire art career. "Son," Victor nodded curtly. "Miss Dawson, I'd like you to meet Natalie Sterling." The woman Ethan was supposed to marry studied Olivia with the clinical precision of a scientist examining bacteria. "So you're the reason our family's merger has been delayed. How fascinating." "The merger was never my decision," Ethan said tightly. "Perhaps Miss Dawson would like to see the Rothko exhibit," Natalie suggested. "I hear there's a particularly valuable piece that would benefit from appreciation." The implication was clear. Olivia could be bought. "Actually," Olivia said, her voice surprisingly steady, "I find Rothko's work overrated. All that emptiness masquerading as depth reminds me of certain people who believe wealth equals worth." A hush fell over their small circle. Victor's expression darkened dangerously. "If you'll excuse us," Ethan said, suppressing a smile. "I promised Olivia a tour of the new installation." As they walked away, Ethan whispered, "That was either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid." "Probably both," she admitted. "Your father looks like he's contemplating my disappearance. He's calculating whether you're a temporary inconvenience or a genuine threat." Ethan guided her toward a secluded balcony. "You're exceeding expectations, Miss Dawson." Under the stars, with the city lights spread below them like scattered jewels, Ethan pulled her close. "We should probably look affectionate," he murmured. "We're being watched." When his lips met hers, The kiss was meant for show, a performance for prying eyes. Neither was prepared for how real it felt, how perfectly they fit together, or how reluctantly they drew apart. That was, Olivia began. Convincing, Ethan finished, though his eyes suggested something more. Later that night, as they drove home, in silence, both pretended the boundaries of their arrangement weren't beginning to blur into something neither had bargained for. "Your girlfriend is hiding something," Thomas Mitchell announced, dropping a thick file on Victor Blackwood's desk. "Her background checks out superficially. Community college, art degree, financial struggles, but there's a 6-month gap in her history 2 years ago." Victor leafed through the investigator's findings. "Find out what she's hiding. Everyone has secrets, and secrets are leverage." Across town, Olivia stood before her largest canvas yet, sunlight streaming through the studio windows as she worked. These past 2 months with Ethan had awakened something in her art, bold colors, decisive strokes, a confidence she'd previously lacked. "That's extraordinary," Ethan said from the doorway, startling her. He'd developed a habit of watching her paint, claiming it was the only time his mind truly quieted. "It's not finished," she replied, though pleased by his approval. "Gallery opening next week," he reminded her. "Are you ready?" The exhibition had been Ethan's surprise, a showcase for her work at one of San Francisco's most prestigious galleries. A dream she'd never dared pursue without his connections. "What if no one comes?" she asked, voicing her deepest fear. Ethan approached, hands gently settling on her shoulders. "Then it will be their loss." His touch lingered longer than necessary, a pattern that had become increasingly common between them. Their arrangement had evolved in unexpected ways. What began as business had developed into friendship, and recently, into something neither was brave enough to name. They'd stopped discussing the end date of their contract. Later that evening, as they shared dinner, on his terrace, Ethan's phone rang. His expression darkened as he read the caller ID. "My father," he explained, stepping away to answer. When he returned, his face was ashen. "He knows." "Knows what?" Olivia asked, dread pooling in her stomach. "About your time at Pinewood Recovery Center, the 6 months you were in treatment for depression after your mother died." He ran a hand through his hair. "I'm so sorry, Liv. He's threatening to make it public if we don't end this." Olivia felt the ground shift beneath her. That darkest chapter of her life, the grief, the breakdown, the slow crawl back to herself, exposed as a weapon. "How could he?" she whispered, then anger flared. "That was private. Medical records are confidential." "My father has ways of accessing things he shouldn't," Ethan said bitterly. "He's invited us to dinner tomorrow to discuss terms." "He thinks I'll run," she realized. "That I'm ashamed." "Are you?" "No," she said firmly. "I survived. But this changes things, Ethan. He'll never stop. There will always be another threat, another demand." "I know." He took her hands. "Which is why I'm going to end it. Not us, but his control. I've been working on something these past months." The next evening, they arrived at the Blackwood estate to find not just Victor waiting, but Natalie Sterling and her father as well. "Miss Dawson," Victor greeted coldly. "I believe you received my message through Ethan. Your illegal invasion of my medical privacy?" "Yes." Her voice remained steady despite her racing heart. "Information is power," Victor shrugged. "And power is what the Blackwood-Sterling merger needs." "Father, enough," Ethan interrupted. "There will be no merger." "Don't be naive," Victor snapped. "This girl is a distraction. She's using you." "Actually," Ethan placed a folder on the table. "I've transferred my controlling shares in Blackwood Tech to a separate entity, one you have no access to. The division I built is now independent." The room fell silent. Victor's face flushed with rage. "You would throw away your birthright for her?" "Not for her," Ethan corrected. "Because of her." Olivia reminded me there are things more valuable than mergers and acquisitions. As they left the estate, Olivia felt numb. You gave up everything. I reclaimed everything, he corrected. But Liv, there's something else we need to discuss. Part 5. Choosing love raindrops pelted the studio skylight. As Olivia stood surrounded by her artwork, each piece representing a chapter of her journey these past months. Tomorrow was her gallery opening, but her mind wasn't on the exhibition. It was on Ethan's words from the night before. This stopped being pretend for me a long time ago. He'd left her to process his confession, to decide if what had grown between them was strong enough to survive beyond their arrangement. Was it real? Or had they simply played their parts too well? The studio door opened, and she turned, expecting Ethan. Instead, Natalie Sterling stood there, impeccable despite the weather. Miss Sterling, Olivia greeted cautiously. How did you get in? Money opens most doors, Natalie replied, studying the paintings with surprising appreciation. You're talented. I understand now what Ethan sees in you. Why are you here? Natalie sighed, suddenly looking less polished. To apologize, actually, and to tell you something about Ethan you should know before your opening tomorrow. I'm listening. 8. Years ago, Ethan was engaged to my cousin Rebecca. He loved her completely. But when Victor threatened to disinherit him, Ethan chose the company. Rebecca was devastated. She moved to Europe and never spoke to him again. Olivia absorbed this revelation, pieces clicking into place. Ethan's resistance to his father, his determination to choose differently this time. He's never forgiven himself, Natalie continued. But with you, he's finally brave enough to choose love over legacy. Don't doubt that. After Natalie left, Olivia stared at her. Paintings, seeing them with new clarity. Each one reflected not just her journey, but theirs, from strangers to allies to something profound. The gallery buzzed with energy as San Francisco's art community mingled with tech elites. Olivia's collection, titled Pretending, had sold out within the first hour. Critics praised her emotional honesty and fearless vulnerability. Yet Ethan hadn't appeared. He'll be here, Dominic reassured her, offering champagne. The man defied his father and restructured a billion-dollar company for you. He wouldn't miss this. As the crowd thinned, Olivia found herself before her centerpiece, a large canvas depicting two silhouettes merging, boundaries blurring between them. It was their story, rendered in color and light. It's extraordinary. Ethan's voice came from behind her. Like everything you create. She turned to find him watching her with that intensity that still made her breath catch. You came. I'm sorry I'm late. I needed to finish something important. He took her hands. Liv, these past months started as a business arrangement, but somewhere along the way, we stopped pretending, she finished for him. Completely. His smile was tender. I've spent my life building things, companies, technologies, wealth, but nothing I've built matters as much as what we've found together. Natalie told me about Rebecca, Olivia said quietly. About the choice you made before. Pain flashed across his features. My greatest regret. I was younger then and afraid. I've been paying for that mistake ever since. Until now? Until you. He reached into his pocket, withdrawing not a ring, but a key. This isn't a proposal. That will come when you're ready. This is a promise. The key gleamed in his palm. It's to a building in the Arts District. The lower floor is a gallery, your gallery if you want it. The upper floors can be anything. You envision studio space for emerging artists, classrooms, whatever you dream. Tears blurred her vision. Ethan, I don't want to buy your love, Liv. I want to support your passion, the same way you've helped me rediscover mine. And what is your passion, Mr. Blackwood? she asked, stepping closer. Living authentically, creating something meaningful. His hands framed her face. Loving you. When their lips met, it wasn't for show. No audience to convince, no performance to maintain. Just two people who had found something real in the midst of pretense. Later, as they stood on the gallery's balcony watching the city lights flicker to life, Ethan whispered, "No more pretending." Olivia smiled, leaning into him. "No more running." What had begun as a collision of convenience had transformed into a connection of choice. Two souls who had crashed into each other's lives by chance, only to discover they'd been destined to collide all along.